These are trend cities because they have been iconic for a long time. In American films, we can see that they take place in cities like New York. This somehow makes them more fanciful and desirable, and people from other places dream of living here. These cities are a trend because they have had interactions in different areas, such as being cultural centers of the first importance. They have a great history, a good economy, and they are entertainment and film production centers. If a person wants to become a world-famous singer, they will come to these places to follow the American dream, because this is where the most successful producers are. If a person wants to be a famous actor, he goes to Hollywood because the biggest films companies are here. The people who live in these places are people who like to socialize, who like to be at parties, and above all, they are people who are not afraid of new things.
Now I'm going to talk about the common and specific characteristic of these cities. I think the very common characteristic that these cities share is that in all of them there are communities of young people seek to meet, taking into account common styles or ideas, such as the hip-hop community in New York or the hippie community in San Francisco. These cities pioneered something that had never been seen before: the acceptance of gay culture and gay men, especially in New York, where the first gay clubs were opened here. Also, similarly to the cities of the previous season, Milan and Paris, these places accept people of any kind. A clear example of this is Studio 54, where we could find a mix of. In addition, another characteristic of these cities is that they are interested in fashion, in design, in art, in music. As we know, New York has world-famous events, such as the Met Gala and the Fashion Week. These cities are also interested in cinema. For example, in Los Angeles, Hollywood is known for being the mother of the entertainment industry since immemorial times. In these cities, we can find infinities of celebrities. They decide to live in these places because these cities are the center of popularity. Also, in these cities, we find great designers, such as Tommy Hilfiger, Marc Jacobs, Tom Ford, Donna Karan, Halston, Narciso Rodriguez, Alexander Wang, between others. Perhaps these cities are full of art, from street artists to well-renowned artists.
I'm going to talk about other trend cities. New York. New York has been and still is extremely influential on a global scale. The New York probably has more painters and sculptors per capita than any other big city in the world. The city is also the #1 location for selling art in the United States. I think New York is much an iconic city because it possesses an enormous number of museums, galleries, and libraries dedicated to preserve and show world's history, but also constantly showcasing new and emerging artists and designers applying or creating the fads and trends for the future generations. Los Angeles. Los Angeles is the nerve center of Southern California. Off the coast in Los Angeles, home to Hollywood studios, fine art, the Getty Center, Graffiti Park, and the high-end Shop of Rodeo. Thrive in Beverly Hills and is the second most populous urban agglomeration in the United States. Certainly the right mix of things to make it trend city. For me, Los Angeles is the center of the American movie and television industry. No other city in the world has so many creative artists like directors, screenwriters, set designers, and actors. That's why this city is so important. San Francisco. As we know, the largest youth culture of the 20th century emerged in Northern California. I think that what makes San Francisco special is his people. People living in San Francisco are a highly varied crowd This combination of people from great to young to artists and writers made the city and its population more open-minded to everyone. Then other cities at that time. People here are unafraid to change and constantly trying new things. Personally, I think these cities are very important not only in the United States but worldwide because they have a lot of influence in their different areas. For example, New York is iconic in fashion, while Los Angeles has the best waves of surfing and of course the best films. And San Francisco, of course, with his wine and the iconic